Every traveler fights for the overhead bin, as if that's where survival lives. But the smart ones, they guard the small bag under their seat, their hidden command center at 35,000 feet. It doesn't look like much, a soft rectangle of fabric, zipped and harmless. But inside it sits your comfort, your calm, your last shred of control when the seat in front of you leans back another inch. Because here's the truth. Once you're locked in economy, space isn't measured in inches. It's measured in strategy. That underseat bag isn't luggage. It's your only territory that no one can take, spill coffee on, or steal from the overhead bin 3 rows up. Inside it, every item earns its place. One to clean, one to charge, one to calm, one to save you from the mistakes of the people around you. It's not about how much you pack. It's about how much chaos you prevent. And if that sounds dramatic, try finding your sanitizer mid-turbulence. You'll understand. Seasoned flyers know this. Control at 35,000 feet is quiet, invisible, and designed inch by inch beneath your knees. Because in the sky, comfort isn't granted, it's engineered. And the difference between misery and mastery usually fits right under your seat. Number 1, clean hands, clear mind. The moment you sit down, your world shrinks. 2 armrests, 1 tray table, and a patch of floor that someone's shoe definitely owned before you. Most passengers pretend it's clean. The smart ones know better. The tray table, dirtier than the bathroom door handle. That seatbelt buckle, let's just say it's been places. So the veterans don't wait for the beverage cart. They start disinfecting. A quick wipe of the tray, buckle, armrest, screen. It's not paranoia. It's preemptive peace. Because nothing ruins a trip faster than catching someone else's cold before takeoff. Once the space is clean, your brain relaxes. That subtle sense of, I own this now. And once you've claimed the territory, you move to the next rule. Never rely on the airline's timeline for your basic needs. You eat when they feed you, you lose. You eat when you choose, you win. That's why every pro traveler packs small, quiet fuel. A few bites that don't crumble, spill, or smell. Something sweet when your blood sugar drops, something salty when your patience does, and yes, something spicy. Because airplane food tastes like surrender. Next comes the little pouch, your personal command kit. Passport, sanitizer, tissue, pen, everything you'll need when the seatbelt sign refuses to turn off. It slides out in one motion. No digging, no panic. This isn't a comfort ritual. It's psychological warfare against chaos. Because at 35,000 feet, calm doesn't come from deep breathing. It comes from clean hands, quick snacks, and knowing you're already 2 steps ahead of everyone still fumbling for theirs. Number 2, airflow and calm. The air inside a plane has its own personality. Too cold to sleep, too warm to relax, too dry to feel human. And yet, every time, someone will say, it's not that bad. Sure, until the cabin turns into a metallic sauna at 35,000 feet. The veterans don't wait for that moment. They carry a tiny fan, the kind that hums quietly and makes you feel like you've hacked the ventilation system. It doesn't look like much, but it turns suffocation into breeze. Not luxury, survival. Because when the air moves, your patience follows. Then comes your skin, the first casualty of recycled air. Dry lips, cracked hands, static hair, a horror movie in slow motion. That's why there's always a travel-sized lotion and balm hidden somewhere close. Not to look good, to feel human. You can spot the amateurs by their glossy faces after they splash water from the lavatory sink. The pros? They fix the problem before it happens. And somewhere between all that, the small tools of order. A pen, a marker, a tiny piece of civilization in a sky full of chaos. While others are borrowing pens midair, you're filling out customs forms with the calm precision of someone who's already landed. Tiny objects. Quiet control. That's the rhythm of comfort no one talks about. Because up here, the air isn't the enemy. Complacency is. And every small move you make to control it, every wipe, every drop, every ounce of airflow, isn't just about comfort. It's proof that even at 35,000 feet, you still call the shots. Number 3, circulation, stillness, and survival. The cabin finally feels calm. The lights are low, the hum is steady. And that's exactly when most travelers start losing the quiet war inside their own bodies. Because peace at altitude is deceptive. Stillness is the real turbulence. Blood slows, muscles stiffen, your spine starts plotting revenge. Most people call it getting comfortable. Seasoned flyers call it phase 1 of regret. That's why they prepare differently. Compression socks, not the trendy kind, the functional kind, keep the blood moving when gravity can't. A small act of rebellion against the laws of physics. They look boring, but they'll outlast every noise-canceling headset in the cabin. Then there's the neck, that fragile hinge between sleep and chiropractor bills. You can always spot the rookies, heads dangling, mouths open, dreaming of regret. The pros? They bring structure, a small pillow that supports, not decorates. Because real comfort isn't softness, it's alignment. And tucked neatly near the top of the bag, one clean outfit. Not for style, for sanity. When coffee spills or jet lag wins, a change of clothes isn't fashion, it's resurrection. Finally, a small massage ball. It looks unnecessary until you press it into a stiff calf after 10 hours of stillness and remember what circulation feels like. A single roll and suddenly you're back in your body again. Because at 35,000 feet, survival isn't dramatic. It's disciplined. And the people who walk off the plane looking refreshed, they didn't sleep better. They just refused to sit still. Number 4, the tech and clean zone. Power, hydration, and digital survival. By hour 6, the flight reveals its true nature. The air is stale, the batteries are dying, and your brain feels like it's been rebooted too many times. This is the moment when most travelers surrender, not to exhaustion, but to chaos. But the pros? They don't let entropy win. They build a small ecosystem of order before takeoff, a quiet fortress of wires, chargers, and calm. Every cable coiled, every adapter paired, every battery pack full. Not for vanity, for sanity. Because when your phone dies at 1% mid-flight, that's not a crisis. It's a consequence. Then comes the body's second rebellion, dehydration. It doesn't ask politely, it sneaks up. Your lips crack, your thoughts fog, your patience disappears one molecule at a time. You can't fix that with free tomato juice and a smile. You fix it with the bottle you filled right after security, the one waiting quietly by your feet. A sip every hour, and suddenly you're one of the few who lands without a headache or a new personality. And tucked beside the tech, the humble hygiene kit. A toothbrush the size of a pen, a tiny wipe that resets your whole face, a dab of hand cream that feels like forgiveness. Not luxury, recovery. You'd be amazed how much dignity a clean mouth and moisturized hands can give a person at cruising altitude. Because on long flights, technology, hydration, and hygiene are more than comfort. They're control disguised as routine. The rookies let fatigue make their choices. The veterans already made theirs before the plane left the ground. And when the cabin lights finally dim, one challenge remains. The hardest skill in aviation survival. Sleeping on purpose. Number 5, the sleep code. Light, noise, and the art of arrival. Sleep on a plane is an art form, mastered by few, envied by all. Some treat it like luck, others like legend. But the truth? It's a system, designed by travelers who got tired of pretending those paper-thin blankets do anything. It starts with darkness, not the flimsy eye mask from your amenity kit, but real blackout. the kind that tricks your brain into thinking the sun never existed. Without it, your eyelids keep flinching every time someone's screen flashes another episode of something no one should be watching at 3 a.m. Then comes silence. Or rather, the illusion of it. Noise canceling isn't about quiet, it's about mercy. It turns chaos into white noise, lets you forget the crying baby 2 rows back, and shields you from that one guy who thinks a plane is a good place for a podcast without headphones. Temperature follows. Cabin air changes moods faster than people in a middle seat. That's why the pros keep a thin layer tucked nearby. Easy to put on, easy to shed. You can't predict the air, but you can predict yourself. And when everything lines up, darkness, silence, warmth, that's when the magic happens. You drift off, not because you're tired, but because you've built the conditions for peace, even in a seat that barely reclines. The amateurs call it luck. The experts call it architecture. Because sleep at altitude isn't a coincidence, it's controlled unconsciousness. And the moment you open your eyes to the dim blue light of morning, one thought hits you. If you've built sleep this well, imagine what you can do when you land. Number 6, the arrival kit. Landing smart, moving fast, and staying ready. The landing gear drops, the cabin shakes, and around you, 100 people wake up looking like they lost a fight with time. But the pros, they're already rebuilding, because long flights don't end when the wheels touch down. They echo through your skin, your breath, your ability to remember what day it is. That's why every seasoned traveler carries one last weapon, the arrival kit. It's small, quiet, tucked into the bottom of the bag. A toothbrush, a wipe, a dab of moisturizer, maybe a drop of cologne. Not for vanity, for dignity. You're not trying to impress immigration. You're trying to feel human again. A quick brush, a clean face, a few deep breaths, and suddenly you're the only one in line who doesn't look like an extra from a zombie movie. Then hydration, again, but this time with purpose. A sip of electrolytes, a twist of lemon, anything that tells your body, we made it. You'd be amazed how much faster you recover when you start before you land. And then, order. Passport in one hand, phone in the other, boarding stub where it belongs. While everyone else fumbles through pockets that suddenly don't exist, you glide past with quiet precision. Because real travelers don't race through airports, they flow. Every motion intentional, every detail rehearsed, every step part of a plan. You don't just arrive, you reappear, sharper, calmer, almost smugly alive. And when the cabin door opens and the rush begins, you already know the secret everyone else missed. The trip isn't over. It's just changed altitude. Number 7, the landing. Strategy over chance. Every traveler has a story about survival at 35,000 feet. The sleepless nights, the numb legs, the quiet surrender when the seat in front reclines another inch. But the ones who master it, they don't survive the flight, they design it. Because flying was never about distance, it's about control. Of air, of space, of self. That small bag beneath your seat, it's not luggage. It's a philosophy. Every item inside, every wipe, every charger, every folded shirt is a decision made before chaos had the chance to ask for one. It's the difference between reacting and ruling. While others blame turbulence, you manage gravity. While they chase comfort, you build it. Your little patch of space becomes a system, quiet and deliberate, running like clockwork while the rest of the cabin unravels. And when the wheels finally kiss the runway, the truth lands with you. Comfort isn't luck, and calm isn't coincidence. They're the reward for foresight, discipline disguised as ease. Because real travelers don't hope for smooth skies. They expect turbulence and prepare anyway. That's what separates the ones who endure from the ones who arrive. So next time you fly, remember this. Mastery doesn't start at takeoff or end at landing. It lives right under your seat, in every quiet, ordinary choice that makes the journey yours. And just like that, you've landed. Not smoother skies, not better seats, just better choices. Because real comfort doesn't come from luck or upgrades. It comes from the quiet things you do before anyone else even notices. That's control at 35,000 feet. If this helped you see flying a little differently, share it with someone boarding their next flight unprepared. And when you're ready to go deeper, watch our next guide on the airport habits that can get you flagged before security. Until then, fly calm, stay sharp, and remember, control isn't power, it's peace.